Alrighty, TGIM after a 3-day weekend. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And I'm not even sure if everybody's even open today. It seems like it was a very thin market. I can tell you that. From the beginning, we didn't really see a lot of action. Around 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago now. And we're starting to see some action. The markets have been sliding down now. Nothing major. Just slow, steady burn, a slow push down. Nothing too exciting. As you can see on there, the dollar index looking a little firmer. You see it on J4X there. You see how it has a couple green bars here on the daily. Same situation here. We went into a buy a couple days ago. And then we had an in and out on, it was a red and a green on Friday, kind of thin. And then today they're lifting it up a little bit. So they're insinuating that the bonds are probably, interest rates are rising here in the States. And they are. I can show you right here, there's the 30-year right there. You can see it's pressing down from that was our Thursday close because there was no trading on Friday. And this is the 5-year right here. You see that same situation. So it's come down from the 110-ish area, high 110 to the low 110. So the interest rates are rising a little bit here in the States. Nothing major. They've had, you can see this wonderful ride they've had on the upside. When this thing rises, interest rates are dropping. Okay, so, this run from here to there, interest rates were dropping. Then they've sold off for a couple days. Started to find a base again. You can see we went into a daily buy. And here overall, we were in a weekly buy for a while. You can see the fast went into a weekly buy back in here with that daily buy. The slow joined in, and you can see the pressure, just kept on driving it up. And now they've done a nice little run again to challenge the tops in here. That's probably the range, for a while until there's more clarity of economics and so forth and so on. We are in that type of universe now where some fundamentals seem to be more important than others, whereas before all fundamentals were respected. Metho, welcome back from our 3-day holiday. But I was here on Friday, so I did do my thing early in the morning. As I take a sip of my tea here, and this is the markets are punching along just fine. They were plus, now they're minus when it comes to the stock market, but not that big. I mean, like the S&Ps are down 23, the Dow's down 120. That's nothing. I guess you could say the Tech 100 is probably the most pressured at the moment, down about 109, down almost 0.83%. Almost 1 percentage point. But I don't take. I don't really take a 1% move as something major. I look at it as minor. It has to be about 3% before I pay attention to it as if it's changing a trend on us, So, that could literally be a webinar in its own right, talking about the idea of how many 1% moves in the market do not lead the market, but how many 3% moves do. And that's something to think about, And, a lot of people who are in the financial news media, they're so comfortable seeing the number, not the percentage, as a meaningful thing. So, in other words, they were used to, when the Dow was a 2,000 index, now it's a 33,000 index in price. They see a third of a percentage point, which is 124 points down right at as we speak. They get excited. Dow's down 124 points, but it's only barely a quarter more than, it's a third of a percentage point. That's it. It's meaningless. And when it gets down 1%, it's down 300 points. Oh, they get excited like as if the world's come to an end, and oh my goodness, you got to pay attention. Or if it goes up 3%, it's like, oh my God, it's a massive rally, and it's like, no, it's just a 1% move. That's all it is. Now, when you see a 3% move, that catches my eye. Something's going on there, you know. And since the currencies have become so, I want to say, I don't know, they seem sideways in some ways and not in others. I mean, when we go and look at Swiss and what poor Swiss had to go through, or the Japanese yen against the dollar go through over this Credit Suisse situation in Switzerland over the last 3 months, yeah, they drove the thing around 10%. You know, it was a big move in the currency. But it wasn't a 10% move in cable or a 10% move in the euro. It was just where the problem was itself. So it's just something to think about, traders, not to get confused by real excitement compared to false excitement. How's that? So that's an interesting kind of concept. I think about it all the time. I rarely ever talk about it. I mean, I'll say it here. I'll say, hey, you know, don't sweat it too much. It's not really that big a move. And you know, they're like, oh, it's, you know, up or down 1 or 2%. It's like, okay. So that is my I guess my morning riff. I guess you could say that's the you know, thing that's going on. The red portion of red carpet. Oh, interesting. So, anyhow, now where do we go from there? Let's go over to the euro and take a look at it and see what's going on. Unless anybody wants to see something in particular. And there's that's the S&P 500. You can see it's down, of course. We can get rid of that green. It was trying to be plus there starting the night. Now it's gone. All right, let's go over to, there it is right there. There's the Turkish lira. That was really wild. Look at Friday's close. They closed at 18 and change. Let's see if they have that up on J4X at the same time. That'd be interesting to see. Right there. They have it. They don't even show that low. They just show a low of 20 and change. We get some really thin markets over here in the States with the Turkish lira. Sometimes J4X in Europe feel it, and sometimes they don't. It's kind of curious, you know, the action we get here in the States with the Turkish lira. Really curious. All right. Let's see. What else is there? I guess we'll go to. We will slide over to the euro Turkish lira, euro dollar pairs trade, and there it is right there on J4X. Let's put it up again over. Or we didn't even have it up yet on Chicago Quant. I think it closed in a sell on Friday. That's why we see those reds on the J4X. Yeah, so we're a couple days in the sell, and you can see, you know, it's just pressure. That was, what was that? That is, that's odd. What is it? Those dates are kind of odd. All right, so let me just do this. Let's change the data to it. Let's go to default. There we are. That makes it look better. And so, oh, they got a green dot in there now. See, I put it on the spreadsheet. For those that get the spreadsheet, I had it in the cell right there. And so you can see the pressure on it today, of course. You know, it's there already. It was a red and a green. Now it's a red and green. On Thursday, it was just a red. There was no green. What else can we say about that? You can see a couple weeks of strength right there. Same here, you know, now last few days they've been knocking it down. You see that right there. And then over here, again, you know, you see the same thing. It's knocking it down. And matter of fact, there's what, 3 reds. That's it. But this is, there's a 6th, there's a 7th, and there's the 10th. We only have, well, there's the 7th, there's the 6th, and there's the 10th. Okay, so ours did not break down into the red on Thursday. And then, you know, yesterday, or I guess Friday, they did, and then here we are into the sell. So that's the euro. I don't see a lot of excitement. I mean, obviously, you could probably think maybe they're going to try to support this area here, or I would think more to be like this area, the 108s, 108, and evenish, maybe 107 high, challenging this low, possibly. But I'm not that concerned about the action. I don't think this is like some type of A, B, and they're going to go down to anything major on the downside. At this point, it seems like they want to just go sideways. And when you contract it, make it tighter, there's the all-time lows right there. So it's been a wonderful move from the all-time lows. You see, we went right into the weekly buy a few weeks after the one-time lows. And we went into daily buys, like literally on the one-time low. And it ran up from, 90... What is that? That is 96, 95 and change. Went into a daily buy right there and climbed for about a week and a half up to par again. Then they hit it, came off of 100. That's what we call par. Played it again, broke down again, and then broke through it this time. A third time's a charm, and it gave it the run. A lot of times that happens too. We've talked about that here about the third time does it. All right. From there we'll go over to the cable. The cable's seen most of its destruction, I guess you could say, with Brexit. Back about 2 years ago, and so cable itself has been much firmer and consistent, even with some of the stranger policies that they have going on over there at the moment economically. But you can see here in October, it made a nice low in there. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to go over to J4X, make it the whole screen, put a monthly in. I want to see where the all-time low is. Kind of forgotten what it was because we seem to be on a mend, I guess you could say. Okay, so that was also, what is that? That's months. So October of 22, yeah. So in October 22, they made another all-time low. And so they never challenged the Brexit numbers. How about that? I mean, in other words, the Brexit numbers, that challenged the Brexit numbers back here in, I guess this was this area here when they did the Brexit thing, I guess right around in here. So that I guess it was the interest rates more than anything else that really drove all these currencies down to all-time lows. A combination of inflation and interest rates made all the currency pairs make all-time lows in a lot of these categories, especially the two majors. And when it came to the yen did a 45-year low, from it, and so that was the real influence out of it all. Really, it was truly the real situation, I guess you could say. That the inflation and the interest rates really had the currencies pushed into all-time lows against the dollar. The dollar was roaring up against them. No, people here are confused. I swear, it seems like they want this really strong dollar. I don't think they understand what a strong dollar is. They just seem to mouth things. People repeat things sometimes that don't make a lot of sense. For us who trade currencies for decades, for over 40 years, 4 or 5 decades, I've been trading currencies since the late 70s, and the dollar is as strong as it's ever been, as far as I'm concerned. Even with it down from its all-time highs of October and November, it's still some of the most strongest dollar I've ever seen in my life, and so it is kind of shake my head, roll my eyes situation. In other words, it's too strong, as far as I'm concerned. There's the Swiss, and the Swiss did have an incredibly wild ride when you look at the Swiss. You see here, from the banking situation, it really had the whole place upset there. And we saw this product. Let's put it over here on J4X. Let's make it a weekly there too, so we get a better view. Right there. Here it comes through J4X. Let's just take a look at that. But we saw that product go from 90 something. There it is. 87. Now that's back in 2002. This is the banking problem right there, I guess. Where's the banking problem? The banking problem, there it is. There's the banking problem. So I guess they're anticipating it. Let's make this the whole screen for a second. They were anticipating it. So, here is the October low right here. Is that the October low? Yeah, here's the October low right there. So the October low took it up to 101. And, the low is 94 and change. It's a pretty big move. And then, when you think about, look at the, the euro did the same type of move. It was like a 12, 13% move. But not in this fashion, because when you go over to the euro and look at it in the same way, you see the euro, where's the euro again? Right there. The euro is very chill now after making that low. They're not making challenges to any of these lows in here at all. And when you go back over to the Swiss, right there, that was really choppy. Going from 91 to par in a matter of like 8 weeks. That's a 10% move, and then moving down about 7%, then moving back up 7%, and then falling 10% again over that same time period. That's pretty volatile. And the Japanese yen did the same thing too. We saw that same action in the Japanese yen. We'll throw it up on here. And then you can see here, that was wild action. That was really wild action, and because of the banking problems and so forth that were going on at Credit Suisse. But it was all straightened out as usual because of quantitative easing. The central banks have the room to fix any problem that they create. That's the way I look at it. They fix any problem that they create because they're the ones that create this mess to begin with. So, and there's the yen. And the yen did some really interesting action. When you look at it, let's put it up over here for a second. There's the yen. No, that's not the yen. There's the yen. There's the yen. And now it looks like it's calmed down dramatically. But, here we go. We'll show you the yen over on J4X. You can see the yen went from, where's it at? Went from like 115 all the way up to 151. And that's a pretty good move. That's a 33%. 33%? Yeah, 33% move. So a little more now, like 34% move. That's pretty, compared to the Swiss, it had a 10% move. And then did a bunch of sevens and then back to a 10 again. In a good way for the Swiss, of course. And the same thing is happening here. You can see they've gone from 151 down to 128. And they haven't had a 33% drop yet, or 34% drop, but at least they're calming down. And it seemed like they were, I like I've said this before, and I know I'm repeating myself, but it does not surprise me that the Swiss and the yen locked together at one point, and they were just marching along identically every day. And it's probably because they were invested in Switzerland. It would make sense that the Japanese investors would be deeply involved in Switzerland because they like quality investments. They do. They like big brand names. And you're not going to get a much better brand name than the Swiss, so for, parking money and so forth. So, that is pretty much the story there when we really look at it. You see that the moves in some of these currencies have been pretty dramatic, and again I credit that dramatic moves not because of economics, but because of interest rates. Well, yeah, it is economics, but I mean I'm not talking about like growing GDP versus ungrowing GDP, or it was more because of the explosion in inflation and risk when it came to a particular sector in the countries themselves. All right. From there, we've seen the Turkish lira again. We'll go back to it. Wild and woolly Turkish lira. I mean, it's just, some of these wild moves we get now from it over here in the States. And then every so often you see that type of move, on J4X, but sometimes you don't. In other words, it has a natural tendency to calm down a little bit more. And I guess if we turn the hinkies off, let's see what we do when we turn hinkies off. I can't turn it off that way. Let's go here. There we are. There we are. You can see those moves are a little bit bigger, matching up. Thing is that they usually don't do what they did on Friday to us. That is, they closed, the low was 2088, and you can see our low was, what is that, 1793. I mean, they've got it's really thin markets every so often it happens. It's like as if no one's paying attention to it over here, and the next thing you know, it gets clocked. They beat it up. And that kind of does and doesn't surprise me, because, the Euro-Turkish lira must be a really foreign transaction over here. It's one thing is if it's the dollar Turkish lira. We could take a look at let's take a look at dollar Turkish lira. That's probably just as choppy. But I mean, the amount of buyers over here in Euro Turkish lira has to be thin. Yeah, look at that. That action's not at all in the dollar side of it. But then you can see other wild moves over here, and that has been the rationale too. It's been really odd, where we see these wild moves, and then by the end of the day, they find a way of putting it back into the range. And in other words, if it's a line chart, boy, you wouldn't even know this is happening. But you do know it because it's not a line chart. You see the open, high, low, and close. Or you see the candlestick, which shows the open, high, low, and close. In our case, we show the Hinky Ashki, which is something like the open, high, low, and close square. So it's like a double whammy. All right, that is all I can say about that. No one seems to have any opinion, so that's all right. That's quite all right with me. I'm just kind of rolling through the homies here, just going through it all. From there, we go over to the Canadian. And there's the CAD. You see the CAD is kind of, normally when the CAD is going down, oil is going up. And we know that oil is firm today. Let's go over to oil. There's oil. Oh, now it's not firm. It was firm. That makes sense. And it's been sideways for a couple days here. And so we go back over to the Canadian, and it's been slowly grinding its way up, and that makes sense to me for a change. It's it's matched up again very well with the energy sector. Let's put it up over here. There it is there. You can see that same thing. It's been climbing up. And we'll turn on Mr. and Mrs. Hinky. You can see that there. Wow, look at that. That's like a spaceship taking off. And it's only halfway up. It has the potential to go to 100. So it's at 50 something now, and it's just been roaring since here. It's been trying to turn up the stochastic, and then when you combine it with the hinkies, once the hinky goes green, then you can go long. All right, now from there, who do we go to next? Oh yes, let's take a look at the energy contract itself. And there it is. There's Brent. You can see Brent doing that same thing. Brent's been just pushing up and up and up. And so that would mean normally, that the Canadian is going down, down, down. And then it's stalled out in here for the last 3 or 4 days. Same thing with West Texas Intermediate right there. Light sweet crude. It's doing the same thing. It's pushing up for a bunch of weeks now. Pushing up. And then same thing with a bunch of weeks going down. But here we've got a little twist going on. And we'll see. There is, there's constant talk that they expect to see higher oil. I myself, I believe it. So I guess it's in the currency. We're seeing it in the Canadian as we speak. And you can see here, look at the way it's diving down on J4X. And let's just take a look at it over here on Chicago Quant. Confirming the same thing, diving down. It's in the sell for 3 days now. And the weekly fast is so high up. And now that was trying to get through the zero line. Now it's failing at it again. So, I mean, it just keeps on going on. This is some of the more stranger action we have seen in the energy sector in a while when it comes to our algorithm. The fast is flying and the slow is dying. And then this morning they had it up. Excuse me. Oh, fast yawn there. And you can see this morning we went up to 81.22. The high there is 81.49. So it tried to challenge this high right there and failed at it. And now it's breaking underneath the 80 area. It's at 79.88. Now let's see what the premium of the back month is. Might as well just do that for the fun of it. And yeah, it's discounted by 31 cents. So it has been carrying a premium, and as high as 60 cents we've seen it. Now it's minus 30 cents. I don't know. The oil market is definitely in every direction. And we're coming into our what we call the driving season here. Excuse me. The driving season. So I can see oil going up. A gallon is going up about 25, 30 cents. So we'll see if that keeps going along. Usually they start to manufacture. Excuse me. Something went down the wrong way. I drank my tea and it went down the wrong way. That's better. So the driving season is coming on. In other words, the weather is nice. Americans like to get out and go to the beach or to the mountains, or they go somewhere like to travel and parks and so forth. So they always call it the driving season. Get out and get some air. All right. From there, we slide over to the South African Rand. And we're going to put gold up there, too, at the same time. And there's gold. And gold is trying to get into the sell. Now you can see it's trying to turn up, whereas this morning it was down lower from last week's close of $2,023.70. And today we got down to as low as $2,004. So that was almost a $20 drop. You can see it's right there. It's just flirting. You can see that point right there where we're just minus right there. See that minus? You can see the pressure going on right there. So, and then let's put it up over here. The South African Rand right there. And the Rand is trying to climb up, which means normally that gold is going down, and that's what it's been doing for the last couple of days, heading down. So it's reflecting it well. And that's good. And what else we got going on here? I guess that basically reflects what we're seeing with the South African Rand and the gold. And it's bouncing around up in here, and the weeklies look so strong. And the daily looks very strong, and it's only up to 34. I mean, we have much more room to go. Oh, no, it's up to 84, 81. And there's 74 right there. So it's heading towards the top end of the range. And we'll see if this starts to curve and we get into a red again. And the South African Rand starts to keep on, will keep on climbing. That's pretty much normally the way, that's what the Rand does. It does that right there. So let's put gold on there just to look at it that way. Right there. There's gold. Gold's trying to turn the little red thing and break down. Matching up to the South African Rand over here. And there is the Rand on Chicago Quant right there. There. Ooh, look at that spiky spike going up after the highs. It's not hiding it, that's for sure. It's been a daily buy for 5 days now. It's in a weekly buy for a second week. So that pressure's on. Over here, let's put the rand up over here. Let's see what's going on. There it is right there. Let's put that weekly in there. Right there. And it's doing the same thing. It's trying to climb into the buy. You see it bouncing. That line is spiked. Not doing it gingerly, is it? It's just reaching into the sky. That's it. It's like a shot. All right, now we'll go over to the last of the currencies that we look at. Unless someone else would like to see something, then we'll go to that. But right now, no one is asking for anything, so we'll just go look at the Mexican peso. And there's the peso. You know, feeling that pressure the last couple of days. This is the weekly. Let's put the daily in there. Right there. And let's put it over here. There we go. And you can see there. Oh, look at that. They're making a challenge this morning to the downside again. We went into a weekly. What was it? Yeah, I guess a old weekly or a slow weekly buy right there. But the fast is now finally turning up. Now this is turning down. Very strange markets. And you can see here it's, you know, rallied for a couple of days. And now it's trying to climb back up again. But it went into the sell on Friday. And it's still down, but the price is moving up. And we're like in the weekly and then trying to go into the daily. This was something. This went into a sell. Let's put that in there. Let's steal this one. Slide it in there like that. So it went into the sell. Then last week it blew into the buy again. Thing is really, you know, with inflation, with the confusion of interest rates and lending and everything else and the bank problems here in the States, you know, you've gotten some really strange action. You can see the fast is moving so fast and the slow is lagging so slow that you can see that there's a confusion going on here. I mean, you can see it happened here where the fast drove down, the slow spiked, and then we went into a sell, and it was a good drive down from the 19.5 area all the way down to 18 on this product. And it stayed in that sell for weeks, months, from literally all of January, February, and pretty much most of March, halfway through March. And it goes into the buy for a couple of weeks from this stuff, and then back into the sell. Now, remember that when the Mexican peso is in a sell, remember, it's against the dollar. It's dollar peso, not peso dollar. So it means that it's stronger against the dollar. So as it goes down, it's stronger against the dollar. And that's obviously a positive thing there for the population, to be able to get more for their money. All right, now, what else do we have to say about any of that? Let's see. I guess that's about it. And that's the end of the currencies, unless someone would like to see something. We'll go over to the gold and the oil and take a deeper look into silver and copper and everything else and platinum. There's a stock market. You know, it's just been slowly grinding. Look at the bars. Barely any bars compared to a normal day. It just shows you how much Europe is closed. I mean, it's very thin. See that there? And so the S&P 500 is down to 4,108. Now, let's jump over to let's not do that. So let's go like that. And let's go over to here and see what's going on with silver. And there's silver. There's the May contract. And as you can see, it's still in a daily buy from back here in the 23s. And we've gone up and touched 25. Been in a weekly buy, you know, since the 22s, the high 21s, low 22s. And let's put it up over here. Right there. There we go. And so, at this point in time, what you see is the metals complex is not letting go, which is nice. It makes me feel like fundamentals and basics are working when I see metals go up. Because I really, in these times, these last 14 years, to me, this is the strangest world ever. It's 15 years now. 2008 to 2023. And so it is the strangest of events I've ever seen in the marketplace, and I've been involved in the market for 45 years. And it's just astonishing what we see. It blows my mind. All right, from there, we'll take a look at copper. Let's see what copper is doing this morning. Right there. There's copper. Breaking the $4 area. Let's put it up over here. Doing the same thing. They put it into a buy, I guess. What was that? Something looks wrong there. Let's fix that. Let's go to the default. There we go. So there is Friday, or in our case, in States was Thursday, and it's moving down. Oh, it's already in the sell, so it doesn't matter. We can remove that. And so it's been in the sell since here, or I guess move one over. It is. There it is. The line got moved, and so it's been in the sell from here. That up day, it went into the sell, and it climbed into a weekly buy and kept you in neutral. One thing was for sure, you weren't long. That's good. You just didn't catch much of the ride. Unless you're trading binaries or options, then you can try to play the dailies through the daily chart. And then, so at this point you can see it has stayed underneath. And we've come down from the 410 to what's Wednesday's low or Tuesday's low was 401. Is that right? No, 394. 394.4. So they've really put pressure on that product. Maybe the maneuvers. I understand that they had as many as 70 planes lined up. I don't know why China does that stuff. It seems so foolish. I just saw a story where Europe says that the U.S. fighter plane is 5 times better than the communist ones. And so, I don't know why they keep on thinking they can challenge Taiwan. I don't even understand it. It's like it really says something negative about the leadership. They're just not that smart. Or maybe it's posturing. Maybe they need to make the rank and file, it's the population, believe that they're strong. Maybe that's what it is. But I can't even imagine them having a success at any type of war. You can see here the weekly went into the sell last week and just showing that same pressure today. Now let's see what it looks like over here on J4X. There's the weekly. It's rolling over and it's been in red now for 2 weeks. And that is that. Now, from there, we're going to take a look at the last of the metals that we pay attention to. That has a definite influence on the others, and that is the platinum. Platinum, right there. July platinum, pressing into the sell today, and the weekly is holding up, and we'll see how long that lasts. That's going to be interesting. And we got up to, I think we got up to what is that? That is that I think that's a 50 point. So that's like 1050 up top here. And as you can see, when we look a little bit further back, we played around with the 1100 area at one point. Then we bounced around in the 1150 or 1050 area, fell back down to 900 again, and now we're trying to climb back up to 1050 again. Now, I remember I was mentioning it in the webinar. I was talking with a guy that's been trading, currencies pretty much most of his life. A dentist. He's a doctor, a dentist, and he's trading the metals. And he was like, I don't understand platinum. How can the ratio be so upside down? It's like, well, in the quantitative easing years, that's what they do. They have a strange way of supporting some things and just selling others, and it's the strangest thing. I wonder how many closeted platinum traders are just slowly buying the stuff. Just buying it, saying, one day things will go back to normal. Platinum always traded over a premium of gold. Now it's literally 50% underneath it, which is extremely odd. All right, and that pretty much does us in the metals complex. So we'll go back over to the energies now. And there's our back month crude, just hanging around, little minus right there, showing that pressure. The weekly's trying to get up and get going again. Whereas the front month, I think the front month was underneath again. Nope, the front month now is back over again. And then we go and we look at natural gas right there. There's the natural gas over here on J4X. We'll take a look at Brent. There's Brent holding up in the 84 area. And we'll slide over to West Texas on there. You can see that right there, matching up. Oh, that's right. We have nat gas up there. It's trying to lift there in the West Texas American oil. And now that's the weekly. Let's put up the daily. That'll make it more sensible. There you go. There's the daily. And then we go over and we take a look at the natural gas here in the States. Right there. And you see it's at $2.18. $2.17. See it right there, 7.7. Same thing here, 7.5, 7.9. Same thing, bouncing around, 7.2, 7.4, 7.3, 7. You see it bouncing around. And at the same time, when we look at natural gas, we go over to, where's it at? Right. We look at the energy company down in Spain. Right there. Gas Natural Spain. And it's trading in the 28s. And we've been really surprised how they drove that thing from the 26s and the 25s and 26s. They have found here, heading towards the warmer months, this thing has found a way to park itself in the 28s, which is whoa, just whoa. Only way to describe that, whoa. We didn't expect to see European natural gas become so out of whack with American natural gas. $26 premium. $26, not like $2.60. $26 premium. That is astonishing. It just blows my mind. All right. What else can we look at when it comes to the energy side? I guess that's about it. Oh, here's one we follow. This is heating oil. We follow heating oil too. And here's heating oil in the States. That's May heating oil. And you can see it's off its highs. It's only trading at $2.65 a gallon, which is 4 liters basically. And so it's been in a weekly sell all the way back to, where is that? That is late January. It was up around the $3 area and just went into a sell and just kept on holding down, and just it's been staying down there, and it's been locked in the 260, 255, 250-ish area. You can see it got down close to 40 here. Energy in the States is coming back down. Our gasoline that's the price of gasoline in the States is right around there, 270. That's before it's taxed and transported and everything else. But that's what it comes out of the refinery at, around 270, 280. Let me go take a look and see, just real quick. Let's see. Unleaded. Yeah, it's trading the same price. No, 280s, 270s, right around there. A gallon. If we were running at full production, the world would not be paying so high a price in oil. That's what the problem is. We were going from the world leader in production to third. Mr. Biden has shut down almost all he can of producing energy. All right, that ends us there with the energy sector. Anybody care to see anything? Just double check with you. Make sure I'm not missing any questions or anything like that. And if not, we'll go over to the stock indices. Check out the S&P and the Dow and so forth. There's the S&P this morning. Has come off of its highs. It's at its lows. It's in a daily sell for 3 days. But it's in a weekly buy starting a third week. Now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average right here is playing even a longer game. Oh, no, that's right. It was in... I thought it was in 5 weeks of it. I'm confused. Let me go over and double check something here. Open. 3. Yeah, now why is that reflecting 5? Oh, no, that's Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been in a weekly buy for 5 weeks. Yeah, Dow Jones Industrial Average this is starting its third week also. And then I know what it is. I'm thinking of the. Let me close this. What I'm thinking about the Tech 100. That's, I think, 5 weeks into it. That's what I'm thinking about. Right there. That's what I'm thinking about. Let's find it. Right there. And there it is right there. There is the Tech 100. And this is the 5th week. I knew somebody was in a 5-week move from it. So it's gone from the 1200-ish area to the 12,000-ish area to the 13,000-ish area, and then some. I mean, the high there 5 days ago was 13,300 and change. So it's been an interesting move there. That's like an 8% move over the 5 weeks. That's very positive. It means usually this particular index represents interest rates, and it's very interest rate insensitive. So when this is gaining, most of the time interest rates are going down, and that's usually the way it works there. So you don't usually see. How am I going to say this? I guess what happens is that when interest rates are really rising, there's a real resistance to buy tech stocks and companies like that, the technology companies, because they're very interest sensitive. They have to borrow a lot of capital to function. They have a lag of receiving money, so it's kind of like a rationale that they're going to be borrowing, and so the borrowing drops. The cost of borrowing drives them down. So that's why zero interest rates really made them fly, just outperform all other sectors. All right, and then from there we'll take a look at. There is the Russell 2000. And you can see that's been locked in a weekly sell now for going on a 6th week. And it does not seem to care. And it's dropped, I want to say it's dropped about 16%. It just doesn't seem to care. It doesn't have the wherewithal whatsoever to get going in any way. So that is what it is. What else can we say about any of that? I would say more than anything else that what we're seeing here is this is the most speculative of the stock indices. This is what the Tech 100 used to be before. Well, Microsoft and Intel have been very strong now for decades, but ever since the internet bubble of 2000, these stocks have really found a base and really taken off. Amazon challenging Walmart at times. Google becoming an incredible marketing search engine. For the new age. They've taken those monies they've made and bought things like YouTube and so forth, and they really are growing companies with earnings. So they are not the Russell 2000 type stocks anymore. And so you can see here that these take off when money thinks that the marketplace has growth in it. That's how it usually works. So the Tech 100, when it gets legs, they get legs. Okay? In other words, speculative. It's a great representation of speculative buying and selling. That's what it stands for, basically. And so from there, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Right there. And Bitcoin, same way. It's been in the buy for 4 full weeks, going on 5th week now. And, it's been locked in very well. You got your sell here, and then it went into this buy here. Held on for a while. We had a red and a green, so it didn't go into the sell. And then went into the sell here a couple of days ago. And now it's flirting with the buy, but it's still minus by 39, as you can see right there. So we're really not getting the takeoff at the moment. And usually what happens is that the cryptos seem to lead the markets more than they've ever done before. Cryptos, have really become like a stock index. People, when they're bullish, they go right to the cryptos, and the cryptos took off. I mean, you look at here, it went. This move here, let's just take a look at a stock index again. So, let's see. Where's it at? We'll find it in a second. Let's look at the Tech 100 again. Or just the S&P. There's the S&P. The S&P from that same time period went from 3,800 to 4,200, basically. Okay? What's the high there? 4,163. All right? And so then, you take a look at the Bitcoin right there. That product in the same time period went from 20,000 to 30,000. That's 50% move. Incredible numbers. Incredible. Money, when money sees that it's time to be invested, they're very fast to join in with the Bitcoin and the cryptos in particular, the 3 major cryptos, I guess you could call it. It's like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I forget what the third one is. I don't even pay attention to it. I watched Ethereum once in a while, but Bitcoin is truly the leader. It's definitely like the Dow Jones was. Now, it's not. It's a very strange animal. It doesn't. What it is it has all the characteristics of everything else in the market minus an asset behind it. So in other words, you look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, you got all these companies, they're assets. In this case here, this is like an index, and it just represents the emotions of the market itself. And right now they're saying there's more buyers than sellers, because notice it doesn't want to let go. It's in a weekly buy. It does not care. It's just the same way as the Tech 100. You can see here the Tech 100 is doing the same exact thing. A bunch of weeks in a buy right there. And it doesn't let go. And this thing here came from the same time period, came from 11,800 to a high of 13,300. Another fantastic move. Not 50%, but, good move. All right, traders. If that is it, that is it. And we'll have to come up with a title today. I'm trying to think what we should call this webinar today. I don't have a strong opinion about it. We talked about fundamentals getting back into action. How about cryptos? Something like cryptos lead stock indices. Is it really? They really do. I mean, they really have that, that control over the marketplace, or at least put it this way, they emphasize what's going on in the marketplace. So I think that's what we'll do is we'll label it something like cryptos outperform stock indices. Seems fair enough to me. Fair enough to you guys and gals? All right then. This is Doc from North America. Catch you all on Tuesday. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends on this holiday Friday, Monday. Ta-ta for now.